right, we are back with another episode of the Platform Podcast. I am Safian Lewis, and I am here with,
Jaden.
and we have,
Natalie.
hi. Okay, so Natalie, tell us about yourself.
So I'm a singer-songwriter from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm also a sophomore here at Penn State, and I'm double majoring actually in music technology and broadcast journalism.
Wow, that's actually really different. You're actually the first person I heard talk about music technology. So tell us more about that major.
Yeah, oh my God, I absolutely love it. It's sort of an amalgamation of everything that I really wanted to do in music. So I came into college knowing that I really wanted to do some sort of performance. I've always been a songwriter and a singer, and I was so excited to come and really explore that. And then I found the music tech major, where I can also learn how to produce my own songs and record everything myself and edit all of the sound and really become a sound engineer, which has become such a big passion of mine as well. So all of my classes consist of all of the performing arts classes that I take, specifically like music, singing classes. And then I also get to take like recording studio techniques and fundamentals of digital audio. So it's really, really fun.
Wow, that sounds really cool. Do you think you had a little concern when picking that major? I know a lot of people feel like creative majors, like our majors, are not as high paying, or, a lot of people will be discouraging towards our majors. So how do you feel about that?
Oh my God, of course. Coming into college, I was really, really concerned about what my major was going to be. And I had listened to a lot of sort of external pressure that was telling me that I needed to get a stable job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And music is definitely not something that they thought was quote unquote stable. But music has been my absolute passion. So I tell myself it's something that I really have to do. So it's not something that, I choose to do. Well, I choose to do it, but
Right.
it's something that I have to do, right? So I sort of said screw it, and I decided to major in music tech. But I also did pick up journalism as well, just because I really enjoy writing, and I think that could be something, a skill that could be applicable if down the road I decide out of the blue that I no longer want to do music.
And have you found the journalism major to kind of make it a little easier to help brainstorm like song ideas or write your own music or
Absolutely.
things of that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of think about journalism. Journalism to me is like, it's sort of the same as music. Music is just journalism with a tune, right? With a melody. Both of those mediums, you're telling a story. So I've really found that I'm becoming a better writer, and that's reflecting in my writing. I think I'm becoming sort of a smarter writer, so I'm starting to really use a lot of more sort of like literary technique in my writing, like my songwriting, which is really cool, and I'm excited to explore that.
And when did you first discover, your background passion for music and that you essentially love music,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've really been loving music since, I was a baby. I remember I was so little. I hadn't even really talked yet, but my mom would strap me into my little car seat in the back of her car. And when she would drive me places, she would put on all different kinds of music. So it would be anything from Billy Joel or U2 to an opera called The Magic Flute. Really just such a wide variety. The Wicked soundtrack, the Broadway soundtrack, and she noticed that I would be humming along, and I grew up doing that. I grew up around music. Music was always playing in our household, and then so as soon as I got to school, really, even like kindergarten, I was doing just little plays and musicals and shows that my school would put on, and I got into guitar lessons in third grade. Yeah, and got into an orchestra and a choir and musical theater and did that all throughout high school and loved it.
So talk about how your family is such a big support system for you and your music. I know that you said your mom started you like listening to music in the car. So talk about your mom and your parents as far as music.
So my mom is like one of my biggest supporters. I mean, really, she's like my rock star advocate. And she's always in my corner, and she's always texting me like, "When's your next thing? Like, when's your next performance? I want to see." She's actually coming up tomorrow to watch me perform in Thon, which I'm so
Yes.
excited about.
Shout out to Thon.
Shout out to Thon.
For the kids.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll be performing tomorrow at 11:20 p.m. So that Friday, and I'm so excited.
It's a big accomplishment.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that is really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I can't wait for my mom to be here. I can't wait.
Speaking of like big performances, like that's not your first big performance. We saw that you performed the national anthem before, and that's a big accomplishment in itself as well. So
Thank you.
what kind of went into that? Did you go into it nervous, and like how did the opportunity feel when it presented itself?
Oh my God, yeah. So all throughout high school, but especially in my junior and senior year, I sang the national anthem for like the basketball games, and I went to this really, really small private school. So I performed in front of like 25 people, like in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. It's not exactly a big school, but so I knew the song and I knew how to sing it well. And then I got this opportunity to sing the national anthem at a baseball game. And I was like, well, okay, like, sure, let's do it. And it's sort of been like an ego death for me almost, where I used to go into a lot of things like, I got this. And I wouldn't really prepare as much as I probably should. So I really stopped doing that. So I prepared a lot and I sang through it a lot, and I got to the gig and I was 10 times more nervous than I had ever been when I would, fly by the seat of my pants. And I sang and it went really, really well, and I was so excited, and I gained like 2,000 followers, and it was crazy. But yeah, so I love it. I am hoping to get other experiences like that with Penn State, because it's such an awesome experience.
Yeah, so speaking of, you said that you gained 2,000 followers from just doing that. How do you maintain your following base, and how do you connect with them, and where do you see the connection mostly?
Yeah, so it's so funny. I probably had like 1,000 followers when I was in high school, like my junior year. And then I released my first single, Celestial Heartbreak. It was this first song I had ever released. It was the fall of my junior year of high school. And I released it and was really promoting it hard. And then this like super, like 2 million followers, this super crazy famous Italian influencer used my song in one of her posts. It was literally like a 10-second outfit of the day post. And it got like 2,000 streams in a day, and I gained I went all the way to 10,000 followers, 9,000 followers. It was crazy. So ever since then, it's sort of fluctuated, but I just keep posting, and I post a lot of the stuff that I post on TikTok, on Reels as well, and then just through collaborating with other artists, I get traction too. So yeah.
My question is, a lot of students / artists here kind of find it hard to balance school while also trying to be the best artist that they can be. Mm-hmm. But with your major kind of connecting towards your art and your music, do you feel like it's a little easier for you, or that you're just always at work? How does it feel? Is it pressure? Is it not pressure?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think my major definitely helps me, but I think it also, in a lot of ways, can hurt me. So I obviously am in music classes all day. So I do music classes all day. I sing all the time, and then I come home, and then I have to have the vocal stamina to also sing again. That being said, I literally would not trade it for anything. It is what I absolutely love to do. Singing for me is I don't know, a fish in water. It's just something that I love to do, and I have to do it. So I will say I'm definitely growing as an artist because of my classes. I'm really learning the theory, the music theory and the technical stuff behind writing and composing, which has always been something I wanted to explore, but my school never had a theory program. And I think just the biggest thing for me is yes, I'm learning a lot, and I'm definitely gaining stuff from the classes, but I think just being surrounded by such amazing artists is really, like, it's such an experience that you can't really get anywhere else because it's so immersive, and I think that has really helped me to grow as an artist more than probably any of the performances or any of the other like classes I've taken. So.
Right. So talk about how important it is to be around like-minded people when following your dreams. I do know that you collabed recently at State Theater with one of our old guests, J Van. Love them.
They're awesome.
So how did that feel, meeting them as well as collaborating with them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I met Hunter, who is a member of J. I met him, I think my first semester, or maybe it was second semester, freshman year. And he had reached out to me about a club called Penn State Music Group, which I'm now a part of,
Yes.
which I love. And he had talked to me about potentially joining as a signed artist. So, and then I would work with them and they would, help me book shows and get sort of publicity and get my music out there. And Hunter is such a light. I mean, that whole group of guys, they're awesome. They not only are they incredibly talented musicians, but they're also genuinely lovely people, and they genuinely want others to succeed, which is crazy, right?
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. So they reached out to me over winter break this year, and they said, would you be interested in doing a show with us? And I'm like, heck yeah. And I had only ever done things solo, just me and my guitar. And they said, but we are playing the State Theater. We think you should have a band. And I'm like, okay, I don't have a band. Like, I don't know. And they said, we will find one for you. And they found me, like, 3 incredible musicians to play with me. And really just, like, they facilitated the whole thing. And they made sure that I was comfortable and that the other musicians were... I love them. They're amazing. So I can't say enough good things about them. They actually just released their new album, and it's so good. So go listen to that.
Definitely go listen to that.
Yeah.
But okay, so other than that, I know you're actually the first female we had on the podcast, so shout out to you. Tell us more about the process. I know it's a little harder for women, especially getting ourselves together. What is your process? What does it look like going on stage as far as makeup, hair, outfits? And I know you probably do it all on your own.
Yeah, I do. That's one of the other things that I'm so grateful to be coming to college for, is because I feel like I sort of was debating on where to go to college, and I could have gone to places that were really populated music areas and really hubs for musicians, which I'm not saying that State College is not, but I could have gone to Nashville or Boston. But part of why I love Penn State is because the artist pool is smaller, so I get to find my own person, right? And I'm not influenced by other people. So part of that journey has been figure out what the heck do I wear, which is, I mean, you can shake your head and be like, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, just sing. But it's a first impression, right? It makes such a world of a difference on whether people stay to listen or not. So I really try and pick my outfit intentionally. I try to be sort of a mix between sort of modern pop and a little hint of country, because I do write country folk stuff, but I also write a lot of pop stuff. So I try to make an amalgamation of that. So I wear these awesome red cowgirl boots that match my guitar, but then I'll wear something cool on top that's a little bit more mainstream, a little bit less cowpoke. Right. Yeah. And then I definitely big hair and makeup, and just try to look the part. But
what kind of, when you get calls to do these shows and get booked and stuff like that, how do you decide what song that you're gonna come out to or play first for everyone? What kind of goes into that process?
Yeah. I love picking songs that it sort of depends on the gig. If it's a gig that I get to pick for, I mean, that's awesome. I've had gigs where they will pick a set list, but if it's an all original show, like the State Theater, that was my first show actually where I did only originals, and it was so awesome, and I was so excited. But I picked those songs based on what are sort of my favorite songs to perform and what are ones that I think will translate well with a band. And then when I do sort of restaurant gigs, I will send them with my resume when I'm first getting sort of booked. I'll send them a mock set list, and they can make any changes, they can add anything depending on what they think their audience would want, because they definitely know their restaurant better than I do.
Right.
So yeah, it depends, but yeah.
What do you feel like you gravitate more towards? I know, like you said, you are a little nervous. You know, you're going to be performing in front of thousands of people tomorrow, which is so interesting and fun. But do you feel like you like performing more in more intimate crowds, or are you ready for the big crowds?
Yeah, thank you for the reminder about the thousands of people. Oh my God.
Don't be nervous, you got this.
Yeah, I'm actually being. But let's see, it's so hard because I feel like both. And it really depends on the show, because I've performed in front of like a lot of people, but if the crowd is dead,
right.
I would totally prefer a crowd of like 10 people that are like actually there. One of my most memorable shows was one of my first shows I ever did. It's at this little restaurant in Cleveland, Ohio that is no longer there. It's called Smoke and Mary's. But there were literally like 3 people there, and they were so rowdy, and it was so fun, and they were like giving me song recommendations and yelling and cheering, and it was just a blast. So I mean, it's really all about the energy of the crowd. But I mean, if I could book Madison Square Garden tomorrow, like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather perform at the Cleveland Browns game or the Cleveland Cavaliers game? What would be the first one?
Oh, that's so hard. I mean, honestly, the Cavs have had such a good year this year.
They have.
I am definitely more of a football girl than a basketball girl, but probably football, probably the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah, the Brownies, just because I performed when they had that losing streak. They oh man, I went out and partied with my mom, and that was really fun. So I love them.
Okay. So as far as your, your journey and everything, what does it look like when you do a songwriting? Like, when you songwrite in your room by yourself, how do you do it?
Yeah. So 9 times out of 10, my lyrics come first. So usually it is not while I'm just sitting in my bed or sitting in my room. Usually it's while I'm walking around.
Wow.
I do sort of my best writing when I'm not thinking about writing. It's sort of like when you think about breathing and then you start to manual breathe and then you don't know how to stop thinking about breathing. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like that for writing for me. So I will just be walking around and I'll see something that I really like, whether it's a sign on a wall or like a tag, like a graffiti on the side of the wall, or I'll see somebody do something that I think is songwriting worthy, and I write it down in my notes app, and then I have to like run home and get out my guitar and sort of sit with it. And there will be times where I'll write songs over the span of like a week, and there will be times where I write a song in like 10 minutes. So it really depends, but lyrics always come first, and then I put whatever I think is best with it, sort of melody-wise, and yeah.
Speaking of your guitar, obviously, like, you've grown a personal connection towards it, but was that the instrument that you first fell in love with, or, like, did you have to shift gears towards another one?
So before I learned guitar, I learned piano for, like, a little bit. I feel like every kid learns piano, and it was so not my thing. It was so not my thing. I got lessons, and I really did not like them. I got them from my neighbor, I think. She was great, but the lessons... Piano it was fun, but it wasn't my thing. And then I got a guitar and freaked out. Yeah,
right.
Freaked out. I had this awesome, I forget the brand, but it was this like baby electric guitar. It was black and white. I can still see it. It did not have a great sound, and I was obsessed with it. And I had this little amp that only had one mode, and it was just distortion, just like just grainy, awful gain. And I would like shred in my quote unquote shred in my living room. So yeah, I've loved guitar for a super young age. Yeah.
So do you think you would ever try to experiment with other instruments, or you feel like guitar is going to be your thing for a lifetime?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I've started relearning piano. I played violin for a while.
Wow.
I was first chair in my orchestra, which was so fun. And I'm learning the mandolin as well right now, which is super cool, just because I wanted to. But yeah, so I definitely want to learn more instruments. I want to learn banjo. I think that's so sick.
Oh yeah.
Connecting with my roots or whatever. But yeah, I want to learn banjo. I like mandolin. I like all of those stringy instruments. I think they're fun.
What instruments do you feel kind of connect towards your sound and like geared towards like the way you want to play your music?
Yeah, definitely guitar, and definitely the reason I started learning mandolin is because I wanted to put it into some of my music, because I think it's sort of the perfect instrument that you can take it really country, or you can make it this like really interesting percussive sort of folky sound, which I really really enjoy. So that's hopefully what I'm achieving in sort of my newer music, which is actually, I'm really excited because my album, which is all original music, is going to be coming out this semester, hopefully.
Yeah,
So.
shout out to that. Look out for that, guys.
Mhm.
Yes. Also, do you feel like the music that you make, what is the true inspiration behind it?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like it's something that you think about? Is it something that you've been through? Like, what do you feel like connects with you most in your music?
Yeah, so I definitely make my best music when I am at my lowest.
Mhm.
So music for me has always sort of been an outlet. When I was in middle school, I actually got a chronic illness that put me out of school for about 4 months. I was really, really sick. And during that time, it was literally just my guitar and I. Like, it was just me playing it, writing it, all day. And really ever since then, it's sort of been like a coping mechanism for me, as well as something that I genuinely enjoy. So whenever I have a problem, some people will like punch it out. Some people will sort of sit in their bed and rot and cry, or everybody has a coping mechanism, and mine is writing songs. Right. So I used to write, shocker, I used to write a lot of girl music about boys and heartbreak and all of that. And then I started branching out when I started getting real adult problems about other things that matter, and I started branching out about that. So it's absolutely about what's happening in my life, and it's a coping mechanism.
What artist has kind of been your inspiration, like not only with how you may write your music or formulate it, but also how you want it to sound? What, like, I guess, who is your favorite artist?
Yeah, so I have a couple. Noah Kahan is sort of my biggest inspiration right now, because his lyrics, I think, are so important to him, and you can tell. And my lyrics are so important to me. My lyrics are honestly more important to me than some of the other music. I just, I love lyrics. And I think if you have bad lyrics, you have a bad song. Right. So I definitely love him. And then Lizzie McAlpine, Phoebe Bridgers. I love John Denver. My mom loves John Denver. My grandpa loved John Denver. Actually, I have a fun tradition. My grandfather, who passed away on my mom's side, his favorite song of John Denver was Leaving on a Jet Plane. Mm-hmm. So, all my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing there at the side door. It's all about saying goodbye. And so I play that at the end of every set that I do at like a restaurant or something as like a little homage, and also to say goodbye. So it's a little closure. But yeah, so John Denver's a big one. Billy Joel. My mom loves Billy Joel. And yeah, Tyler Childers. I love some country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever experiment with other genres of music, or you feel like you're good with where you are?
So yeah, for sure. I joined this it's actually a class here at Penn State. It's called Rock Ensemble. So I'd never really sung rock before. I'm definitely very like singer-songwriter, coffee house, like folky, right? And then I joined Rock Ensemble, and they're like, great, we're singing Iron Maiden. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so that definitely took some getting used to. But, you know, Paramore, Iron Maiden, really, really getting into it. And I think it's definitely helping me, like, grow as a vocalist, because I really am getting out of my comfort zone, which is fun.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of went into your decision to come to Penn State out of, you know, all the other universities that were on the table, especially since you mentioned how you could have went to places that had, you know, a bigger, I guess, music background or musical community?
Yeah, I didn't know what Penn State was until I came on campus. So I originally thought I was coming to school for musical theater. And so I auditioned for a ton of places, and I thought, I was so sure I was going to Michigan. Like, I'm going to University of Michigan, got a call back, I'm like, let's go, this is the rest of my life, Broadway, here I come, like, and then I started auditioning for all these schools, and I had callbacks for a couple, and the last callback that I had for musical theater was Penn State. And I got to Penn State, and literally my jaw dropped when we got on campus. I'm like, I have to come here. I need to come here, and there's no other college that I need to go to. So I ended up coming here not for musical theater. It was between acting and sort of the major I ended up going with. And it was a really tough decision for me because acting and musical theater have been such a big part of my life for so long. But I made the tough decision that my songwriting was more important to me, and my, you know, this sort of music was more important to me. So, yeah, but I fell in love with Penn State. Yeah.
So out of all of your pieces, all your original pieces, what piece do you feel like you connected with the most, and it took the most work, and ultimately one of your favorites? So tell us about that.
Oh my gosh. They're all my baby. It's like picking a favorite child, honestly. But every parent definitely has one, by the way. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am an only child, but I do have a dog and 2 cats with my mom, and the dog is definitely my mom's favorite child. For sure. My favorite song at the moment, it definitely changes, but my favorite song right now is called Mary Jane, and it is a euphemism. If you know what Mary Jane sort of is right?
Yeah.
But it's actually all about it's like marry, like wed, to marry someone, put a ring on it. It's like to marry Jane. So it's all about a partner of mine that did drugs and sort of liked them more than me. So I said, you know, go marry Jane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really
Little
cool.
play on words.
Right, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. So, I know that you have a single called Celestial Heartbreak.
I do, yes.
How would you feel if we played that right now?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Waking up without you again feels like you've been gone forever. All I want is to see you again. But do you even remember how it felt to be with me? We would shine straight through the nighttime. Every day you'd orbit me. Now as soon as I rise, you hide. You're the moon and I'm the sun. No matter how far we run, we can't outrun time. And there's a possibility of a future for you and me, but it sure is fun to dream. Been a light year since I've seen your face, but I feel you every second. There's a feeling that I just can't shake, that you're the person I'll end up with. How long can the journey take before our paths collide
Wow, I actually really loved that song. Like, it was
Thank
so
you.
sweet. Like, your vocals, everything was just beautiful. So tell us about that actual songwriting process for that song.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So it's actually a little bit hard for me to listen to that just because I think I mentioned earlier, but this is the first song that I ever released.
Wow.
So I recorded this the summer before my junior year of high school. So my voice, I think, is so different from what it was back then. But I still love the song. So I wrote that. Oh gosh, when did I write that? I wrote that probably the year before, probably about a boy that I liked in high school. But I had seen something, this is so cheesy, but I had seen something on Pinterest, I think, it was a little cartoon of like the moon chasing the sun. Like it had a crush on it and like it wanted to see the sun, but the sun was always like setting. And it was like they were just like missing each other. And I loved that. And I was like, what a cool concept. So I wrote that about sort of that concept. And I loved it. And I, at that point, had over like 50 songs written already. And I sort of had been begging my mom, like, please let me put a song out. She was like, all right, like, do the work. Like, shoot. So I reached out to a couple different producers, and one reached back out. And we recorded it, and he's amazing. Michael Estock, love him.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, in Canfield, Ohio. And yeah, and then we released it, and I was over the moon. No pun intended.
How much do you think that you've grown as an artist compared from your first song compared to, the ones that you drop now or the ones that you have in the tuck somewhere, just you as an artist now?
I've grown so much, I think. I think both my writing and my sort of my performance technique as well. I think just my voice has matured just from me becoming an older human, and also from, I've been in voice lessons for a while. But then I also think so when I first released that, I don't think I had performed like an actual show yet. I had done sort of musicals and theater and all kinds of stuff like that, but I hadn't done a restaurant gig. I hadn't actually started singing commercially. But then junior year is when I started, and ever since then I've been performing, and I think every show I learn something new that helps me to grow as an artist. I think it's one of the biggest parts of being a singer is not the singing at all, but sort of the crowd work, which is something that I definitely got a lot of practice with. So I've definitely grown as a musician. My writing has, I hope, gotten better. Some of the lyrics I wrote back then, I'm like, oh, like, girl, no. But hopefully I'll look back sort of in 5 years and think again, like, wow, I'm so much older. I've grown so much. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I genuinely do. I feel like, we all try to grow and, learn some stuff from our past.
right.
So what do you think your process for tonight is going to be going into tomorrow for Dawn?
Yeah. So as soon as I go home, I'm going to rehearse a little bit. So I'm using my loop pedal to record. I performed this at Thon Showcase as well. It's Ho Hey by the Lumineers, but I made an arrangement where, I don't know, have you seen Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
Have you seen Pitch Perfect 3?
Probably not.
Yeah. There's a scene in Pitch Perfect 3 where Becca, she basically records her voice, and then she records over it again in a harmony, and then she records over it again and again. That's what I use my loop pedal for.
Okay.
So I'm doing something similar to that. That's always the analogy I use. So I'm doing that, and I'm really nervous because I have to get the timing like just perfect, and if I don't, then the whole thing's messed up. So I'm gonna go home and practice that a little bit, not too much though, because I don't want to blow my voice out.
Right.
And then I'm gonna do some self-care.
You
Yeah, and
got
go to bed
this.
really early and drink lots of water.
Drinks lots of water.
Yeah.
Agua.
Speaking of self-care, how do you really prioritize yourself throughout all of this? School, music, family, relationships? Like, how do you really give yourself love?
Oh my God, yeah. So the biggest thing for me is sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, I am doomed, truly. Sleep is really important to me. I get a lot of good sleep, and when I don't get enough sleep during, the actual nighttime, I take naps.
Right.
Because if I
Love
don't,
me in that.
absolutely. One thing about me, I have to make sure I don't sleep too long, because if I take a midday nap, I will wake up at 2 a.m. Like, I'm not playing. So, I nap and just make sure I get a lot of sleep, drink a lot of water, and I find that if I think that I look good, then I feel good,
Right.
and I perform way better. So, I do my hair and my makeup and paint my nails. That's a big thing for me. I really love painting my nails, and I just got this builder gel because I play guitar a lot, and I
Right.
usually won't use a pick. I use my nails. So normal nail polish will chip right off. But I got this nail polish that you paint it on, and it's really hard, so
wow.
it doesn't chip really easily, which I love, because I am always chipping it on my guitar. But,
Give her an NIL deal.
Right.
She needs that.
Sponsor?
yeah, please.
What kind of goes into what's the process like getting picked for these gigs and shows, and I guess what went into the process with Thon? Did they reach out? Did you have to promote yourself?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, this business is so much self-promotion, really. I mean, if you don't ask, you're not going to get it.
Right.
So, honestly, when Hunter reached out to me, that was, I think, the first gig that I've ever gotten from someone reaching out to me, and not the other way around. So, for Thon auditions, I saw that they were having auditions, so I showed up, and I made sure to talk to multiple people about what do I have to do, what's going to work really well, what should I not do. All of the restaurants that I perform at back in Cleveland, Ohio, I have to reach out to all of them. So I have this email chain that I just email, and I have a sort of a generic email that I email out with my resume and my sample set list and who I am and links to my music and all this stuff. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of self-advocacy, and I think that's where a lot of artists sort of in my position end up getting burned out really quickly. I mean, I've definitely gotten burned out before, just because you get, you email so many people and you try and talk to so many people, and
Right.
you're knocking on doors and you get a lot of no's. So, yeah.
Speaking of, self-promotion and stuff like that, as you grow in your talents and, the music industry, in the future, would you consider having an agent to kind of reduce the amount of stress on you, or would you rather stay independent?
Oh my gosh, yes. An agent would be so amazing. I just, if anybody wants to represent me. But, right now I'm sort of my own agent. But I would I would love that. Yeah, I'd love that. Because I really, music is my thing. I love talking to people, and I love the business side as well, but I don't love it that much, I would love it if I could just focus on being a performer.
Makes sense.
So, since you are independent right now, talk about the importance for artists out there trying to make it to where you are, or just trying to get gigs and stuff. Talk about the importance of the grind. And like you said, self-advocacy and just, putting yourself out there and without being afraid or discouraged.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite all-time quotes. So, when I was in 7th grade, my favorite history teacher had this little bulletin board, and he would have these quotes that he'd put up on it. And I saw a quote one day that he put up that I literally think about at least once a day from 7th grade onwards. And the quote is, "Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard." So
It's my favorite saying.
yes,
LeBron James
sir.
said.
It's so good. So, for me, I just always think, I'm never going to be the most talented. I'm never going to be the one in the room that you sit there and you're like, wow, that is the best singer I've ever seen. Because that's, number one, that's objective, right? Or subjective. And number two, I'm not that. I know I'm good, but I'm not insane. But I am the hardest worker in the room. by far. I can control that, right? And I do. So the grind set is so important, and I think I sound like a finance bro, but the grind set. But no, it is so important to work hard and to, I think, show people that you work hard, because they want to root for you. If you show up and you really put your all into it, people are gonna want to root for you.
Right.
So yeah.
How hard is it to, not get discouraged or not when everything doesn't go your way as an artist, but knowing that you're a hard worker and knowing that like you still may not get the result that you wanted to get? How is it like, to keep going and stay persistent?
There's so many ups and downs. I mean, there will be days where I will go from I am the best to I am so bad I should quit right now. Like, I need to change my name. It honestly really depends on the day. But it's really hard. It's really hard. And especially when we have, we live in a society where being an artist, right, it's a starving artist, right? Being an artist is not seen as something that's relatively important, right? Which is so wrong when you think about it.
Right.
I mean, I always think, take your favorite action movie and then take all of the music out. Then it's just some idiot doing flips out of a car,
Right.
right? But the music is what makes it. Music is so important, and I think it's important to remind yourself that you are important and what you are doing is important. I mean, you're making people happy. This is a service. And I think it's also important to remember what music means to yourself. So there will be times where I get so discouraged. I'm like, God, I suck. And then 2 minutes later, I will pick up my guitar because I cannot keep my hands off of it. We have a toxic relationship, my guitar and I. But I always come back. Yeah, it's just important to remember, I think, for me, how much I love it and that I'm not doing it for anybody else, right? I'm doing it for myself.
I like the movie reference, with if you take the music out, it wouldn't be anything. And that's
Right?
kind of like shows the art form of music. And does the art form of music kind of make you appreciate your craft a little more? Or
Oh my God, yes. I, every day, get a little bit more respect for music, because I'll be scrolling through Instagram, or I'll hear something, and it's like this, I was scrolling today on Instagram Reels, and a geriatric, I don't know why I was on Instagram Reels, but I was, and I'm scrolling, and all of a sudden I come across this reel of this amazing guitar player, and I'm like, oh my God. It's seeing stuff like that every day. It's like, wow, we are so fortunate, to be able to see these amazing, amazing things. And just seeing that, lifts my mood, right? And that's what music really is all about. When, you're at a party and an awesome song comes on, you're like, let's go. Like Kendrick, let's go. You get excited, right? It's, music has the ability to make you happy, make you sad, make you feel things. Yeah.
Who is your dream feature?
Noah Khan.
Oh, okay, yeah,
For
your
sure.
favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we did a song together, I think I'd die. Yeah.
the Celestial Heartbreak song kind of reminded me, I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me of the time I spent in Italy. I guess from the sound of it, it just gave me the vibe of you're sitting in a restaurant and somebody's performing that song right in front of you. So kind of I guess that kind of ties into the next question about global icons and stuff like that. Would you want to go global with your music, as in have global artists get on your songs, artists from other cultures, maybe connect back to your roots a little bit?
Oh my gosh, yes. I want to work with as many different artists as I possibly can. I don't care what genre you are. I mean, Bad Bunny, let's get on the track. I need it. I just want to work with a bunch of different people, and I just want people to hear my music, right? I want to play my music for people. So yeah, I don't care where. I mean, I do care. I want everybody to hear it. So yeah.
Right. So, do you have any, I guess, words for your fans and any upcoming artists that may be looking up to you? Do you have any words for them?
Oh my gosh. To my 2 fans out there, I
10K.
love you guys.
1,000.
Yes.
Yeah, half of those people are definitely my like friends from high school. But yeah, I mean, just thank you for being along for the ride, you know, and yeah, thank you. And I mean, if you are listening to some of my newer music, I will try and pay for your therapy bills. If you were connecting with my music, I'm sorry. Break up with him. But gosh, yeah, thank you for being along for the ride. Keep listening if you like it. And to any sort of upcoming artist, I just like keep working and stop focusing on what everybody else thinks, because you're going to hear so many different people. When I was first starting out, I had all of these different people tell me their opinions, and it's like, you are a 15-year-old student and all you do is play basketball and video games. Like, why are you telling me what I should and should not do with my art? So just, yeah, keep going. Don't listen to anybody else except for yourself and whatever you're playing. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Platform. I'm Jaden Hope.
I am Safian Lewis.
And we are signing out.
Yes, thank you.